Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast.
Guys, welcome to another episode of Southeastern Bow Hunter Podcast. This is the first episode, the last episode we're recording until turkey season 2026 starts. So I thought, who better than to get the turkey man, at least that's what I call him this time of year, Mr. Michael Pitts from REALTREE, road trips, all that stuff, all the good shows that we've seen Pitts on. And, he's become a really good buddy of mine over the past, year or so. So I figured Pitts knows how to kill turkeys. He knows how to run for Mr. Green Jeans. And it's just going to be a really good episode. So before we get into it, I hope you guys really enjoyed last week's episode with Dustin, talking about men's mental health. That's probably something that's going to come up a lot here in the next, weeks as the podcast gets rolling and just everything. Because it's just the thing that I've really started taking a very important look at. So before we get into it, Mr. Michael Pitts, we got to run through the partners real quick. Looks like this mic is kind of messing up. Let's see if I can fix that. Okay, hopefully it doesn't slowly go down. I'll keep an eye on it as we're going. It looks like it might be moving, but anyway, you guys know I love messing around with these mics. So partners, before we get into it with Pitts, this podcast is brought to you by Sportsman's Empire. You probably heard Dan's ad in the beginning, but I got to do my part and talk about it. Sportsman's Empire is a group of podcasters like myself, Dan being one of them, who actually runs Sportsman's Empire. And it is honestly just a group of really good podcasts. So if you guys want some other content than just this, or maybe your typical, Joe Rogan's or Sean Ryan's or whatever, go check them out. Let's see. Next up, Osseo Gear. I actually just got the brand new leafy early season jacket. I do plan on using that during turkey season this year a little bit, but I mainly got it because I wanted to have something that is going to be more in tune with my style of bow hunting that I'm going to be doing this year. I'm planning on getting a little lower, getting a little more close to their trails in the thicker stuff because, down in Georgia, we have a lot of thick brush. And I'm not going to be getting up as high. So Osseo makes, in my opinion, the best camo on the market. I absolutely love it. So go try it out. And I say this every time, but just so everybody knows, all the discount codes for all these partners and all of the websites that will take you to their website, if you want to get some of their stuff, it's all listed down in the description below. Let's see. The next up is a boutique. I'm going to run through these kind of quick, but the boutique makes the best arrow wraps in the game. Go support him. G5 Outdoors. They've got that new Dirty Bird broadhead. I love it. I think it's one of the coolest looking broadheads we've seen in a very long time. Yeah, this thing is definitely sliding down. I'll play with it in a minute. But anyway, G5, they always knock it out of the park with their broadheads. Let's see. We got Prime Archery. So got my new divide completely set up, ready for tack, sighted in, got the sticks, got everything that I need for it. So if you guys are looking to get a Prime, I highly recommend you check out the Divide series. If you want to get something that's maybe a little bit older, but still just as good or shooting just as good, head over to Ace Hardware. They are running a special right now. They have 7 Prime RBX bows. I think there's 5 RBX 34s and 2 RBX 32s. All right. They're trying to get those things out of there. And I told them how to help them out on here, trying to get, some people to go get those bows. They're really good bows. Prime makes the best bows on the market, in my opinion. So go check them out. Please go support them. You will get a killer deal. Tell them that we sent you. Let's see. Next up, Dialed Archery. So my proof is working great, man. It was super easy to sight in. Be on the lookout for small batches coming. Let's see. Next up, Moultrie. Moultrie cams are working fantastic. Had deer on camera this morning, so that's really exciting. I actually found a bearded hen, so that's kind of cool. Let's see. Bow Hunting League. I talk about them every week. If you want to be a state sponsor, go to the website, get signed up. It's only $100 a month, and tell them that we sent you over there. Boning Archery, still running the alphas. Scrape Doctor, going to probably start getting scrapes out here in the next couple of weeks. Victory Archery, running the HLRs all season. Catalyst Archery, that is the dude, I'm drawing a blank. It's been a very long day. I'm sorry. Catalyst is the stabilizer company that we started working with not too long ago, where you can get top-notch stabilizers for a quality, affordable price. And last but not least, it's going to be Unbound Archery, which is a string company that I have partnered up with this year. Been buddies with Nick for a while. And dude, best strings out there. I absolutely love them. So that is all the partners. I'm going to run through this kind of quick because this mic is trying to follow me. If you're watching, I mean, you could see I've got to fix it. But anyway, um, if you guys don't know who Jesus Christ is, please, 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 please give him a shot. All right. I did, and it is the best decision I've ever made. Um, I absolutely cannot thank him enough for everything he's done in my life. You heard me and Dustin talking about it a lot last week. And yeah, I think there's a lot of people that need him right now, myself included. I always need him. Um, but Jesus offers something that nobody else can, and that is it's a life-changing experience. So if you guys are going through anything, you want to talk about it, reach out to me. But yeah, that's the intro. So remember, go read your Bible, go shoot your bow, and let's get started with Michael Pitt. Look, I say this every time. You read the title, you know who the guest is. He's one of my favorite people to get on here. Honestly, in the past year and a half, he's probably been the most consistent one, which is great. We got Mr. Michael Pitts from REALTREE back on the podcast. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk about some different things, right? Like I think you came on not that long ago, talked about
Yeah,
your season. So we know how deer season went.
right.
And this is 2 days before the turkey opener here in Georgia. And everybody that listens to this knows I know nothing about turkeys. I do plan on going out and hunting them this year if I can find the time. But dude, so before we get into turkeys and all that stuff, and I just kind of go slack jaw, and you're just explaining everything, and you can tell that I am zoning out.
You got to
Um,
start somewhere.
yeah. What have you been up to, man?
Here lately, typically between deer season and turkey seasons where I take a little break because nothing's really going on. So I can get caught up on, stuff around the house, errands, just stuff I need to get done. So,
Yeah,
since deer season went out mid-January, I've just been catching on. I've got a bunch of little things going on around here at the house, trying to do some remodeling and that kind of stuff. But typically about mid-March, early March, depending on if I go into Florida or not, I'll start gearing up for turkey, which I didn't go into Florida this year, but we just got back from Texas last week. So that was a pretty good little run. It comes in a little earlier out there. So we started hunting out there pretty early.
you
Typically we
hunting
go out.
turkeys out there?
Yeah, typically we go out
Okay.
there about once a year. We've got a good little group we hunt with out there, and we kind of kick it off out there every year. That's usually our first hunt if we don't dip down into Florida. But I hadn't been into Florida the past 2 years, so
Yeah.
kind of the Texas deal's been my kickoff.
So what do they have? Like what type of turkeys are down in I mean, obviously we've got Easterns and stuff in Florida, but like what else are down there? Aren't there Osceolas and stuff down there too?
Yeah, Osceolas are going to be, NWTF states Jacksonville's the kind of line right there between your Eastern and your Osceolas, but I
Mhm.
think it's a good bit further south before you start getting into your true Osceola birds.
Yeah.
I think before you get into your really true Osceolas, you got to get down around kind of the Orlando area. You're kind of dealing with hybrids, a little bit north of there.
Yeah. I was
Uh,
gonna ask you about that if you've ever seen an Eastern Osceola hybrid.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them in there, around that Jacksonville area.
Yeah.
There's a lot of your hybrids in there. And, you got a lot of states. Kansas has got a lot of hybrids because Kansas has got Easterns, Rios. There's a little corner you can kill Merriam's in. So, there's a lot of states that have your hybrids. But, the Osceola is so secluded to really pretty much half a state being Florida.
Yeah.
And it's pretty expensive to dip down there. The people, the landowners and outfitters know
Yeah.
that
They know. They know
they
what they
know
got.
they've got the prize land,
Yep.
especially for folks trying to get their slam and that kind of stuff. So it's gotten pretty expensive down in Florida. But hunting Osceolas are really fun, and you can get into the woods a little bit earlier when you creep down in there. You can start hunting a little bit earlier in early March, that sort of deal. So the people that really are into turkey hunting will start down in Florida, and then they'll end up, way up north where the seasons will go to the end of May. So you can stretch your turkey season out, by starting in Florida and going your
Yeah.
way north.
Or you could be like Waddell and get the slam in 24 hours and
Yeah, that
you've got the funds and the time.
I'm telling you,
Dude,
I'm
that's so
telling
crazy to
you,
me.
that is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen.
That's got to be a
And
world record, right?
I think it was.
That's
I
crazy.
think it was. But that's just unbelievable to even fathom being able to do that.
I don't even
You know,
think I'd
we
physically
did
be able to
beards
do
or
it.
bust a few years ago with REALTREE, and we had 3 different teams that tried to do it from the vehicle. And none of us completed the slam because
Yeah.
you've got so much traveling you've got to incorporate into it. You can't spend too long in one area or whatever. So it is tough to do, by vehicle. Now, Michael did it using air
Yeah.
transportation.
It's like the only way you could.
So yeah, that's about the only way you can do it in 24 hours. But it would be a tough run. Eddie Salter and another guy that was REALTREE's name was Jeff. I can't remember his last name, but they did it back, gosh, a dozen years ago, and they completed the slam in I think 7 days by vehicle. But it's tough when you get into there because I don't care where you are. Everybody talks about how Merriams are easy to kill and this and that. A turkey can be a turkey at any
Yeah.
time and give you more fits than you want to deal with. So, you've almost got to hope that the birds are acting right everywhere
Yeah.
you go. And there's a lot of things that got to align to make it work.
So just to remind me, Osceolas are the ones that have like the blue heads and rainbow fans and all of that, right?
No, that's going to be your oscillated bird.
Oscillated. That's what
They're,
okay.
Yep, that's going to
Got
be
it.
out of the country.
So they don't have
That's
those
gonna-
down in Florida.
No, the Osceola's kind of like a smaller Eastern, I guess you would say.
Okay.
It's a little bit, they're about 18, 19 pounds, I like to call them little velociraptors because they got long old legs and,
Yeah.
it's just they come creeping out. It's pretty cool. But, I would say your Osceolas and your Easterns are probably the 2 hardest birds to kill, as far as your
Really?
slam goes. Yeah. Yeah. If you knock those 2 out, a Rio and a Merriam, they should be pretty easy. But
Yeah.
and it's just like I always tell people, even within the Eastern species, which covers more ground than any other, subspecies of the turkey goes,
Mhm.
they hunt different in different states. Like, I don't care what people say, you get in middle Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and even into Louisiana, that little middle line right there through there, some of the toughest turkeys you'll ever hunt, regardless, anywhere in the country.
Why is
Uh,
that?
I don't know if it's territory or what, because when you go on up into Tennessee and, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, all the way up, into Maine and all that, the turkeys hunt a lot better, a lot easier. Especially Tennessee. Tennessee can be really, really good when those birds are on fire, and they
Yeah.
hunt very easy. And I don't know if it's a terrain or a pressure deal or what it is, but you dive down, just 5 hours into mid Georgia or whatever, and it's like a totally different bird. Even though they're both Easterns, they hunt totally different. And that's one of the cool things, you get to see when you get out and travel and hunt different birds. And, it's the same with deer because deer hunt different in different territories you
Yeah.
go. So that's one of the benefits of getting out and traveling. If you like to travel, get out and travel and hunt, and you'll see these different tendencies that you hear people talking about all the time. And it's really neat to learn it in all. Like, I hunted up in New York last year. We're going back this year again. But in that big mountainous country, we're pretty much flat land down here. And you start getting, up into your Pennsylvania, New York, all those areas, you start getting into some mountainous territories, and you've almost got to work those birds from an elevated position. You want to be higher than the bird is, or at least at the same level the bird is. When you're below the bird, they don't like to work well. They don't want to come to you. They don't want to come downhill. So, there's so much to learn. And like I say, all this just with terrain and the temperament of the birds is all within the Eastern species. We hadn't even gotten into Rios or Osceolas or Merriams. So there's so much to learn, and I still learn every time I step foot in the woods. And I always ask questions, why this, why that, just trying to figure things out when I'm in new territories, because that's part of the fun of it to me. Is one, I like to travel, I like to see new places, meet new people. And, two, it's learning the aspect of the animals in that area, because I don't know what it is. Like, you know, we've had like Drake Lamb, for instance. He was filming with us for a while, and he was coming down from Iowa, and he just thought he was going to come down here to Georgia and we were going to run through him like you do in Iowa. And he learned real quick it
ain't
does
like that.
not hunt like Iowa. There are times you want to wrap your gun barrel around a tree and just run off screaming. I mean, they will push you to that limit. I mean, you'll hunt all day and never hear a gobble sometimes.
Dude.
So, I will say, if anybody can kill a turkey, in that middle Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana area,
you
can kill one anywhere in the country.
Dude, that's wild.
The pressure's off if you can do it.
See,
around
I feel like when I go, I'm gonna feel kind of cocky because I have this track record. Somehow finding turkeys where you just wouldn't expect them to be. Like, I don't know if I told you the story, but this past, I think it was November. It had to be late November, early December. I went to this job up in, where was I? Jefferson. So, north middle area. And, dude, it's like 6:45 in the morning. Sun's just coming up, or maybe it was a little bit later than that. I don't fully remember. But I'm pulling into this parking lot, and it's this abandoned warehouse. All I got to do is their fire inspection, so I'm just checking stuff out. Easygoing day, right? And I pull around the corner, and these abandoned warehouses, they always have a ton of woods around them. So I'm looking for deer,
Right.
Because I'm like, dude, it's deer season. This looks like really good property. There's a little swamp down here, and then there's ridges and stuff, and like no one's ever here, right? These deer might be getting yelled at by the police thing. It's like, you're trespassing on private property. But that's it. And I come around this corner, dude, and I see what I think is a dinosaur. I mean, legitimately a velociraptor, the tallest, biggest turkey I've ever seen in my life. The sucker was past my knees in height.
Ooh.
Like, he was huge.
Yeah.
And so I'm freaking out, and I'm like, oh, that's the biggest turkey. Because I've been chased by turkeys. I've almost fought with turkeys at zoos. Like, I've got to pass with turkeys, right? I mean, I had one time, I know I'm telling two stories here, but I'll tell the second one quickly. I had this one time I was at a zoo down in Savannah, and they had this turkey. And I don't know what the thing's problem with me was. But like, literally, I'm standing there, I'm looking at it, and its snood goes from like hanging over its face. And I lock eyes. Yeah, I lock eyes with this thing, and it just goes straight up.
Oh, yeah.
And he starts fanning, and he's like making weird noises, and I'm like, I think he wants to kill me. I'm like, I didn't do nothing to you. And I was at this veterans camp in Fayetteville, got chased by two Jakes on a golf cart. I just don't understand what it is. It's like, and then after, so I see this giant bird, right? And I'm freaking out. I go do the job. Sun's up at this point. It's like 8:30, 8:45, and I'm done and I'm leaving. And so I'd go to the back of the property or the back of the building because, I want to look in the woods. I'm like, okay, cool. I saw a turkey. There's obviously birds here. There's animals here. I'm going to go see what I can see. So I drive around the back, prime deer hunting. I mean, dude, the land out there, you have everything you need in like a very small area. So I would personally be like, oh, there's deer here for sure.
Yeah, gotta be.
And I don't see any though, which kind of sucks. But I go up to the front of the property. I'm about to leave. I look down in the so basically the way it is this building is up on a small ridge, and then you got a bigger ridge on the other side. So you got this tiny little saddle in the middle of it.
Right.
And that is fed by this small little pond. It's kind of swampy pond, but you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
And I look down there, and there's 4 hens just clucking away. And so I get out, and I can't turkey call worth of crap, but I'm going to try anyway. So I'm like, and they look at me, and they just are like bobbing their heads, and they just turn around and walk away. I was like, man, y'all are rude. I was like, what's up, man? So I feel like, I feel like when I go in the woods this year to hunt a turkey, I'm not going to be able to help it but feel like, okay, God, you've put them in front of me when it's not season. Apparently, I have a gift for finding these things in places I shouldn't. Every time I go scout on public, I find turkeys. I don't know why. So can I please have at least one bird? That's all I want. If I kill one, I'm good. I'm
That's
hunting with a
right.
bow, like I'm good.
That's
And
it.
but I know I'm gonna get humbled. That's the thing, because I have no clue what I'm doing. So
I just it's just learning. I learn better from my own mistakes and that kind
yeah,
of stuff. If I make a mistake, I learn 10 times better than somebody telling me not to do it. When
yeah.
I actually do it, I go, "Whoa, that didn't work. I'm not doing that again."
It's kind of
So
like deer hunting,
it
isn't it?
is. It
When
is.
we get all our Midwestern buddies and they're like, man, try this.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, and it doesn't work down here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's it can be problematic at times.
Gotta love it. Those freaking birds, man. Well, and the thing is, you actually have you kind of have a little bit of a leg up, I feel like, because you could probably call Waddell anytime, be like, hey, Waddy, what's happening? Because I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like of all the people I know, or the three that would stand out to me that know turkeys that I know relatively good or well
Right.
would be Tim Knight, Jay Maxwell, and Michael Waddell. And I know
Yeah.
Waddy's busy, so I probably would leave him for last. You know,
Yep. Yep.
We'd
Yep.
hardly, I know he's got like no time, but if I got any turkey questions, I always hit up Jay or I'll
Yeah.
hit up Tim Knight. And I'm like, hey, I'm planning, and I did this last year too, and then I just didn't have time to go. But I'm like,
Uh-huh.
can you guys tell me what to do? And I mean, I got lists of stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I thought deer hunting had a lot to it, man. This turkey stuff is nuts.
Yeah.
So,
I'm telling you, it can be tough. If a turkey
yeah.
can smell, you never kill it. You know,
Oh, dude.
I
Yeah.
mean, they're
What is it with their eyes, man? I heard something about their eyes are like
yeah, their
amazing.
eyesight is so phenomenal. It's unreal. I mean, you've got to be super, super still. You've got to plan your movements and that sort of thing because they can pick you off
That's
so
crazy.
easily. It's not even funny how quick they can pick you off. In fact, hunting lots of times, if you're hunting in open territory like a plantation cut or something like that, it's pretty much impossible. Unless you just want to sit there and deer hunt them or ambush them or whatever like that. But to actually interact with them, it is really, really tough when you get in open territory because they can
Yeah.
see you way before you can see them. They've
Have
just
you
got extremely good eyesight.
have you ever thought, and this is just something I was thinking about the other night when I was going to bed. Have you ever thought about trying to hunt turkeys out of a tree stand?
I never have. I wouldn't want to do it just because I'm a run and gun type guy. That's what I like doing is covering a lot of ground,
Yeah.
trying to get a gobbling turkey because to me, just sitting there waiting on them is no fun at all. I want to interact with them, call to them, call them in.
Yeah.
And that a lot of people don't like that style or that method, and to each their own. And
Hmm.
there are times where I'll sit down if nothing's gobbling or whatever. I might sit up against a tree in an area where I'm seeing a lot of sign, strut marks or tracks or whatever. I might
Yeah.
sit in that area a little bit just to try to listen, see if anything gets going, that sort of thing, kind of gain my bearings a little bit, take a break, whatever. And lots of times you'll hear birds because lots of times when they're not vocal, they're coming to you. You
Yeah.
just don't know it. They're not responding to you. So lots of times if you sit tight for a little bit, they'll come up on you silent. You'll just look over and he's
There they
standing
are.
there. And lots of times I've seen it like to where if it's a one row track or whatever, and I've got to go up in there and then come back out the same way. When you go up in there calling, those birds are hearing you and kind of easing towards your location. And when you come back down, you'll end up busting them. They'll be sitting there in the road right where you were calling from, looking for whatever was making that sound. So,
Yeah.
lots of times they're coming right to you and you never know it. So, when they're not gobbling, which I don't like to hunt much when they're not gobbling or not responding because I just love to interact with them and hear the gobbles and all that. So when they're being real quiet, if I'm not doing any good, lots of times I'll go to the house because if you sit there and try to hunt them run and gun style while they're not gobbling, you'll end up bumping them and
Yeah.
educating them and everything else. So you can do a lot of damage. You just got to kind of watch it. So on days they're not gobbling, I might sit on the ground a little bit more so I'm not running around and busting up these gobblers that are there, but they're just not responding. So I don't know they're there, which it's not very fun hunting that way to me because I
Yeah.
just like to be on the run and gun and moving and cutting up and talking, having a good time, that kind of thing.
So you're not really much of a ground blind hunter then?
No, I don't think, I honestly don't think I've ever turkey hunted out of a ground blind.
I mean, it's because it's basically the same idea, like what I was
It
saying.
is.
That's what led me to think of it, because I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, I need Jordan, because Jordan and I talked about it on his episode, and I was like,
Yeah.
and he's killed plenty of turkeys, so I'm like, I don't
Yeah.
know what to do. He's like, dude, if you're hunting with a bow, get a ground blind. He's like, because trying to draw back and all that other stuff, they're
Yeah.
gonna see you. And so I started thinking about it more after that. I'm like, well, dude, I don't have one yet. I was planning on buying one, right?
Right.
But it's the same reason I never got a table. So,
Yeah. Life comes up.
yeah,
Adult thing shows
the life
up.
of a poor is
Wow.
so difficult.
Yeah.
Uh, but no, I was thinking, I'm like, I've got tree stands.
Yeah.
Why not just try that? And because I mean, Kurt from Working Class, he killed a very nice muley out of a tree stand, which you don't
Right.
see a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm
You
like,
don't
it
see a
can't
lot.
be that you can't just try
Right.
it.
And if
But
you've got some birds that are patternable, like they're flying down in this one field every morning, getting in the ground blind, setting up a couple of decoys and just letting them do what they're going to do, you can kill them a lot of times that way if you know exactly what they're doing and where they're going and that sort of thing. Off a roost hunt in the field, blinds work pretty good and that sort of thing. But typically I just like to be able
run
to
around the
take
woods.
off on foot and do this and that and everything else. But
Yeah.
yeah. But with a bow, that's a totally different thing as well, because I don't ever hunt turkey. I've never even hunted turkeys with a bow. Big
What?
game, that's pretty much all I do. But I've never done it with turkeys because of the fact that I don't burn any powder during deer season usually. So come turkey
Yeah.
season, I'm wanting to pull a trigger.
I mean,
I'm
hey,
wanting
look,
to burn some powder.
if you want to pull a trigger, I have an extra finger or index release you can use.
Yeah,
Same thing.
that's
Same
right.
thing.
That's right. But
Nah,
yeah, I've always enjoyed hunting, the turkeys with a shotgun, and I think it's due to the fact that I do, so much bow hunting on the big game side. With deer, you've really got to talk me out of putting my bow down.
Yeah.
If it's my choice, I'm taking a bow to the stand every time.
Oh yeah.
But sometimes I have to take a rifle or here and there, and it is fun to mix it up, a little bit, because I went for like 15 years and didn't even take a rifle in the woods. Period.
Yeah.
Not even to shoot does or anything. So, but I will from time to time just to mix it up, and I think that's why I like to carry shotgun when I'm turkey hunting, is for that simple fact.
Just to change it up
burn a
some.
little powder. Have a
Well,
little
and it's funny because like I'll talk to my buddies that turkey hunt, and they're all the same way. Like one of my good buddies that I talk to frequently, named Hunter, he calls me around this time of year, and I'm like, yeah, man, because G5 came out with that new Dirty Bird head.
Yes.
So I'm like, yo, I can't wait to use that. And he's like, man, I'm just gonna take my shotgun out there and I'm just gonna kill. And I'm like,
that's it.
I can't even relate to it. Yeah, I'm like, I feel like the
around.
black sheep of the group, because I'm just like, yeah, no, I just don't. It'll be 7 years this deer season that I have not taken a gun into the woods.
Right.
Or, well, taking a rifle into the woods, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, man. I just, and again, it's just like you said, your own personal preference, right? But
right, it is.
There's something about the challenge that just, it seems so fun.
Close quarters,
Exactly.
And that's kind of, the turkey's close quarters too, with shotgun or bow or anything. And I think I like that close quarters combat kind of stuff, more than it just got when I had a rifle, it was just routine and machine like. There was no emotion, there was no anything. And, when you're shooting at something 300 yards away, the wind is no concern.
Yeah.
So
you don't even know you're there. There's not even
exactly
a thought.
Exactly. When you try to get within 30 yards of them, that's where it takes skill and knowledge and reading the weather situations and knowing what to do and where to set up. And, it's same thing with deer and turkeys. We talked about that little center line, at Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana. if you can kill a deer anywhere in that area, you can kill them anywhere in the country.
Yeah. Don't even get me started
just
on
the
that.
way it is.
I've
This
made some people mad
Southeast is
saying
just
that.
brutal.
It's
Yeah,
dude,
the South.
It's so bad that so me and my buddy Josh, we share a hunting spot, right? He
Mhm.
mainly left it to me to deer hunt, but he wants to go turkey hunting because we've had some birds on camera. Which, by the way,
Right.
we had a bearded hen
Yeah.
on camera.
Mhm.
I've heard of them, never
Right.
seen them. Craziest
Yep.
thing. Because I see the
Some
beard and I'm
states
like,
you can kill them, in some states you can't.
we
So
can't in Georgia. So I'm like,
no, I think you can in Alabama though.
dude, I
You used
honestly
to
was
be
gonna
able
play.
to in Alabama, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I was gonna play the dummy for it being
Mhm.
my first season. I'm like, maybe. But then I thought about it.
Right.
I'm like, it's probably not a good idea. Just because
Yeah,
I don't want to break the law or anything. So
that's right. That's right.
that intrusive thought got thrown away real quick. But
Yeah,
it's just cool to see because she's the only bird
it
that's
is.
there. So I'm
Yeah,
like,
it is.
but he and I were talking, and it's funny as far as I've seen the inconsistency of these birds, and
Uh-huh.
like getting to that, and then the inconsistency of the deer lately. Because the deer,
Right.
and I know I said we weren't really going to talk about deer, but I have to tell everybody this.
Yeah.
I've been feeding at this place since basically season ended, right? And I was feeding during season too.
Right.
Haven't hunted it, haven't done anything in there. I took my
Uh,
stand down end of January, right?
right.
So 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And not only have I had a buck that potentially is still holding,
Uh-huh.
which is crazy to me,
Right.
these deer were gone for like multiple days at a time, and I finally got them to daylight today.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm
Right.
like, are we gonna have another weird year? I know it's very early in the season. There's no way to tell, but it's like
Yeah.
I haven't even done anything. I haven't
Right.
peed in the woods. I haven't, I've gone once every 3 weeks. Like,
Hmm.
what's happening?
Right.
So,
I mean, we still got a lot of acorns on the ground.
oh,
We're
dude.
still
Well, and
good,
that's very
you
possible.
know.
That's
And
very possibly what it is. Because walking in, it's the same
yep.
thing. Like a
Right.
lot of them are broken open, a lot of them are
Hmm.
rotting, but
Oh yeah.
where the feed's at,
Right.
there's still tons. And I'm like, dude,
Yep.
this needs to
And
go.
that's
Like,
got
I'm
a
about
lot.
to get a rake.
Yeah.
Just take
Yeah.
them out of there.
I know it, and that's a lot of what it made it hard hunting for us this year,
Yeah.
just because of the fact that the food source was so abundant with all the acorns. Because I don't care what you're putting out, if it's protein feed or it's corn or whatever, when those
Mhm.
acorns start dropping, in late September, October, yeah, they're done messing with your feed.
Oh, yeah.
Primarily,
I've
they're
wasted
going
a
to go
lot of
to
money
those
because of that.
yeah, and I mean, my pictures will go once the acorns start dropping. My pictures will go from, 250 a day to 70.
10.
You know,
Oh, well,
uh,
I forgot you're on a really good farm. So 70 I could see. 70 for me is like, oh man, they're all in there. Um,
right, right, right.
yeah, that's
But
funny.
they just they love acorns.
Yeah.
There's no way to compete with them. And I was out in the woods the other day, and I cut a couple open with my pocket knife just to see if they were still good, and they were still good.
Are
I
they
was like,
red oaks or white oaks? I mean, what are they?
the ones I cut open were some water oaks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
Gotcha.
were some water oaks, but if there's water oaks, there's the others that are there too, so that are still good. But
Yeah.
there was just so many of them this year. Gosh, it
So
was great. I've
do you
never seen
think
many.
do you think that because of the huge crop that we had last year that these deer are going to go into the growing season like with a lot more I don't want to say potential, but like do you think that we might see some bucks blow up this season because of all this food?
It's going to help for sure.
Okay.
It's going to help for sure. But typically, they're just now starting to regrow their antlers and all as the acorn crop's kind of diminishing.
Okay.
So, typically, that's where your protein and stuff that you feed year round comes into play
Yeah.
because they're getting just as much protein out of that as they are the acorns or whatever. It's just what's available at the time. And
Yeah.
during the summer, typically you don't have acorns. You might have some that make it through. Like I say, there's still some good ones on the ground right
Yeah.
now. So there's that. But during the summertime, they hit that protein hard. I mean, they literally will demolish it, during starting June, July,
Oh
August.
yeah.
They put such a hurting on protein. It's unreal.
Oh,
But
it broke my bank, man. Last
yeah,
year, no joke, just that one spot. Remember I told you I had all those bucks on
right,
the property?
right.
I was going twice a week
Oh yeah,
and it'd be gone in a day. And I'm like,
yeah.
y'all are gonna eat me out of house and home, man. I need to
I
because
know
I'd
it.
put a food block out and they wouldn't touch it. But you put
Yeah.
corn or buck
Mhm.
bourbon or any, not to do like a shameless plug or whatever, because I mean I don't work with them, but it's the stuff
Right.
that works really well.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was spending 80 to $100 a week
Yeah.
just on feed. I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
next year y'all are getting a food plot. I can't do this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna make
Telling
a
you,
micro plot. I'll throw some clover out. Like,
yeah.
I'm good.
And that's the
So
best thing, clover's such a good food source that gives you year-round protein,
yeah,
and it's got a real good protein content and it's there year-round. It's not like soybeans and oats or that other stuff that you're just catching for a time period out of the year. Those perennials that have high protein is just, it's good stuff that works year round because your turkeys will feed on clover like no
yeah.
joke. I mean, you can look in their crawl. I always look in their crawl to see what they're eating and all. And, lots of times, the majority, everything that's in there is clover.
So maybe
So,
that's what I need to do then. Maybe I
yeah.
stop putting food out and just because the thing is like and I think I might have told you this
Hmm.
last time. I don't remember, but one property I need to go over there and cut everything to the dirt or as low as I
Yeah.
can before it
Right.
rains and then plant it.
Right.
Um, but the other one, I have I'm basically gonna have to take a backpack blower and just clear
Yeah.
out a whole because it'd be a very small, like probably
Uh-huh.
30 by 30-foot patch
Right.
of clover, right? Because
Right.
it'd
Hmm.
have to be a micro plot. I don't even know if you'd call that a micro plot. I don't know what you would call that. But
Right.
the the biggest thing is making sure it's got enough sunlight, making
Yeah.
sure
Correct.
there is rain. And
Uh-huh.
I mean, I saw somewhere that we're supposed to be in pretty much a drought for the next like 3 weeks.
He
So I'm
very
like,
well
dude,
could be. Yeah, very
it
well.
threw everything in the blender. And I'm like, well,
Mhm.
I guess we'll just see what happens.
Yeah,
Um, but I want to switch gears a little bit back to turkey. So
yeah,
one thing I've heard a lot of people say, and I don't know, because again, never been turkey
uh-huh,
hunting. I've heard people compare turkey hunting to elk hunting.
yeah. It's a
Is
good.
it similar?
Yes, it is a very good analogy actually, because if I was made of money, I would live in September out west elk hunting because it is a joint of two of my favorite things, kind of turkey hunting and deer hunting. It kind of
Mhm.
combines the both of them because you're able to call the elk in and that kind of stuff. So you're calling like you're turkey hunting, which you don't do with a deer. So
Yeah, I've
it's
tried.
like turkey hunting for a huge, animal is basically what it is. And, to that aspect where I told you earlier, if a turkey could smell, you'd never kill him. Elk hunting, you've got to take the smell into consideration because that elk can smell.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a little bit tough bow hunting for the elk is you got to watch your wind. They don't, in my personal opinion, they don't have quite as good of eyesight as a white-tailed deer
Yeah.
does. You can kind of get away with a little more movement with an elk. Uh, they're not as jumpy per se as a whitetail. So
Yeah. Like they
sometimes you
typically don't
get,
jump strings, right?
yeah, they don't. They're a little bit more. I guess just being such a bigger creature, the
Yeah.
bigger you are, the harder it is to be agile.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's it or if their brain processing is just a little slower. I don't know. I don't know what's
They're
going
just a
on
little
there.
bit dumber than the average whitetail. Let's
Yeah,
just say it.
I don't know
We know
quite
mule
what's
deer
going.
are. We
Yeah.
know that muleys are probably the dumbest deer species on the planet. I've seen so many videos, man, where someone
Uh-huh.
gets a shot off and they just bound off 20 yards and then they turn around like, what
Right.
was that? And then they
Yeah.
take another arrow and I'm like, see, I
Uh-huh.
like you guys. Y'all look
And
cool and you're stupid.
elk can respond a lot like that as well. But yeah, elk hunting is. I would live out west September if I could because
Yeah.
hearing those bugles is just
Oh, dude.
unreal. I mean, it makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. And I wish
Yep.
I could do it more than I do it. You can go out there. There's a lot of public land out there that you can hunt, and so you can go out there. But most of us over here on the East Coast, we've got jobs. We can't afford to be gone from our job for 2 to 3 weeks just to find some elk. And it can take 2 to 3 weeks to find what you're looking for out there. And it takes a lot of hiking into that back country to be able to get to where they are. Because it's just like public land and everything else, around the roadways is hunted really hard. So you got to push way back in there to find the good stuff. And it's a lot of work. And, it's really a lot of work to find a good bull or to find a good herd that you want to watch, that kind of thing. And we don't have 3 weeks to take off to go do that. So a lot of what we're doing from here is paying for the convenience of a guide to already know where these herds are and take you straight to them.
See,
so
what I was going to suggest,
we have to spend a little bit more money to get that.
But see, here's the thing.
That's where
I have a great idea for you. And I don't mean to cut you off, but you got to hear this because it just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Get with Tyler. Okay. Sit down with Tyler. Say, Tyler, buddy, brother. Can I call you brother? Brother. I want to kill a big elk. So here's what we do. REALTREE pays for you to go to Colorado or whatever OT. You can even do OTC, right? Yeah. REALTREE pays for the trip, cover expenses, whatever. You guys film it. You make a video of it. And the kicker is you do with DNR over there what you did with DNR when you did your turkey video.
Yeah.
You know where I'm going with this?
Oh, yeah. I know exactly where you're
Tell me that wouldn't be great. That is good on TikTok. That's good on YouTube. That would hit.
That's right.
So just an idea. I don't know if Tyler and them would be into it, but I'm I
don't know if their DNR would be into it. We had to work that way up the chain in the
if REALTREE, if somebody from REALTREE, if Bill called them and said, hey, probably knows them by name, hey, we want to do this. We have this idea. Would one of your officers be down? I promise you somebody would be down. Yeah. I guarantee it. They'd be stupid not to. But that's right. I know Colorado is a little funky. Like I'm going there next year. At least I'm supposed to. And some of the stuff I've looked at, I'm like, dude, this ain't Georgia. It's so different.
Right. When you get out west, it's a totally different mentality. And going back to the turkeys a little bit right here, when you go out west, they hate a turkey. They do not understand why we want to kill them.
Really?
I mean, they're like a nuisance to them out west. You get in Colorado, New Mexico, Wyoming.
Yeah.
All those good turkey areas out west. And they sit there and look at us like we're stupid to want to hunt them. They hate them. They hate them. They wish you'd wipe them off the map.
Is there a reason?
No, they just don't. I guess they're just not big turkey hunters out there. A lot of those outfitters and all that kind of stuff out there will tell you the only customers we get are from y'all over on the East Coast, in the Southeast area. And you get in the Southeast area and we're huge turkey hunters.
Oh, yeah.
But you go out there and they care nothing about them. Like I was in Buffalo, Wyoming a couple of years ago, and the turkeys walk through the town. I mean, it's crazy. They are literally,
I believe that.
We saw 2 of them out back of the feed store picking up busted bags and stuff. Just turkeys all through.
Crazy.
I mean, like down Main Street, there's turkeys walking the sidewalk, and they hate them.
They're just part of the community, man.
Exactly.
They babysit your kids. They'll watch your dog for you.
But they'll sit there and go, they sit there and go, we have no clue why y'all want to come out here and kill these things.
Yeah. Well, it's probably because they have elk and they have moose and they have muleys. I get it. Right. Mm-hmm. And it's I
just
still.
A different mentality.
Yeah. And I mean, I do feel like it's funny too, because, I got my uncle that lives in Colorado and all that. And we'll talk about the differences between Colorado hunting and Georgia hunting. And what I've noticed, knowing we both know people that are from the West, that are from Midwest, North, South, whatever. The funny thing is, I feel like down here in our area, especially Georgia, it's hunting, fishing.
Right.
It doesn't matter what it is. You're going to go do it. Pigs, deer, turkeys, bears. I mean, bobcat. I saw some dude, he posted something about beaver hunting. And I'm like, what? It's crazy. I mean, iguanas in Florida. Iguanas in Florida.
Yeah, there's people that go down there and shoot them with pellet guns and all kinds of
Friggin'
stuff.
Paul Cineground with Cineground
Yeah.
Outdoors, dude. They go to
Uh-huh.
every year.
I
And
know
I'm
the
like,
funniest thing is when it gets cold down there and they start falling out of the trees.
yeah,
Could you
yeah,
imagine just standing out there by the water and an iguana hits you in the head?
yeah.
I
Little
mean, they
20-pound
just
Godzilla comes flying
literally,
out of the.
yeah, they
That'd
just
be
literally
crazy.
start falling out of the trees.
That's
That
wild.
that amazes me.
See, that's what makes the South so interesting.
I'm
You know,
telling
we
you,
might not have big deer, but we got some interesting animals.
we do that. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Man, that's wild. So, what changing gears a little bit,
Mhm.
what's your setup look like this year, bow wise and arrow and all of that stuff?
Bow
Are you
wise,
changing anything or
I still run Hoyt. I absolutely love the Hoyt brand. I'm running the AX3 this year.
ooh,
Instead of the
you didn't want to go with the
RX10.
AX90?
Do what?
You didn't want to go with the AX90?
Man, I can't pull all that weight. I'm getting old. I'm
Dude.
getting old. The thing I like about the Hoyts the past few years is they've been coming in a few pounds heavy, which is putting my bows about 73 pounds
Yeah.
roughly. And that is just perfect for me. And, really, there's no need to go over that. I mean, like Ted Nugent shoots 48 pounds and hunts
Yeah.
animals all over the world. Today's bows are so efficient that you really don't have to put all that weight. Now, if I was out west and constantly hunting bigger game like, your elk, moose, grizzlies, that kind of stuff, you might want to amp it up a little bit if you were comfortable doing it. 70 pounds is plenty enough to do the job.
Yeah.
But you could shoot a little further, get a little flatter trajectory, and that sort of thing if you were up there around that 80 pound. There's very few people I've ever dealt with that get out of the 70 pound, above the 70 pound category.
Yeah.
Waddell's one of the only ones I know. Waddell runs an 80 pound bow, but he's also hunting moose. He lives out west during September hunting elk.
Oh, believe me, I know.
He's hunting grizzlies. He's hunted grizzlies before. I mean, he's hunting these big animals where you need it. But honestly, I'm probably counting on one hand the 80 pound bows I've dealt with.
Yeah.
Over the years.
Here, at least in my area, it seems like everybody wants to start pushing heavier, right? Like,
yeah,
Josh shoots 75. My buddy Hunter's got his up to like 94, and it's an RX4. So I'm shocked that thing hasn't even blown up on him yet.
Yeah.
But it is funny too, because I nerd out on this stuff, right?
Right.
So I'm sitting here with my like 72, 73. At least that's what I think it is. I probably need to check because no joke, it feels heavy. Like it feels like it's drawing heavier than what it should.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. I had to drop arrow weight this year just so I could maintain relatively the same speed.
Yeah, and that's why a lot of people are kind of amping up on poundage a little bit because heavier arrows and FOC has been a big trend. And especially if you have a shorter draw length. I've noticed some of your shorter draw length people that are trying to amp it up a little bit because there again, speed is a factor because you're losing 10 feet a second per inch of draw. So the shorter you are, the more speed you're losing, and you're losing it quick. Yep. So, the best way to gain your speed is through poundage. So, that's why you see some of your shorter draws amping up a little bit. As long as you're, 28 to 30 inches where, a majority of the people are, you're okay without amping up into that 80 pound category. Because I typically like my arrow set up to be between about 270 and 290. Yeah. That's where I want to hit. And I kind of build my arrow around that of what I'm wanting with a 70 pound bow. So I just kind of craft my arrow around the speed I want. Like right now with my bow set up at like 72, 73 pounds and my arrow set up, I'm running right at 280, which is perfect for me. Yeah. It's a solid setup. So, and I do like a little bit heavier arrow. I don't get carried away with it. A lot of people are getting really, really carried away with this FOC, in my opinion. and they're putting out over 600 grain arrows and all that for a white-tailed deer. I mean, to me, that's taking it a little far.
Yeah.
As
That's too much.
as far as white-tailed deer go, that is just too far.
Yeah.
I kind of like my setups usually around 470-ish, give or take a little bit, depending on what veins I'm running or if I'm running a lighted knock or not or whatever.
Yeah.
Typically that's about where I want my arrow weight at. And it's good enough to get really good penetration on the deer, because my whole deal with a deer is that exit hole so important to me as far as finding the animal and getting a good blood trail. So I want to do as much as I can to get that arrow out the other side. And, so I tend to go a little bit on the heavier side for me, but there's some people running some heavy stuff that's just, it's I sit there and go, why? At the end of the day, why?
Just grab a spear. It's going to do the same thing.
Yeah. So,
I mean, what draw length are you? 29?
28.
20. Yep. Oh, okay. So we're the same draw length then.
Yeah. I run 28.
What I've noticed with like my arrow build, because I always do, especially going attack every year now, I always do attack build and then hunting build, which typically will pretty much fall in the same weight range. I guess it's just what I like to use and what I'm comfortable with, confident with, whatever. But this year I did a little test. Because my bow, so the bow that I shot last year is like 13 foot a second faster than what my bow is this year.
Right.
And so taking that into account, because I want the same speed and still heavy enough arrow, dude, I dropped it. Like I was running 445 last year. And I think when I weighed the ones that I've been shooting, I've got without lighted nocks and 125 grain point, I'm at 432. Yeah. But I want to use lighted nocks because I'm going to start filming this year. And so I was like, if I do that, it's going to be heavy and I'm going to be slower than what I'd like. Right. It's not going to make a huge difference, but I'm already working with, a slower bow.
Right.
And because I got the 7-inch brace height instead of the 6.
Yeah.
So, comfort
which is
and all
going to
that
be more
stuff.
forgiving and accurate.
Exactly. So I then dropped to 100 grain point with a lighted knock, and it's like 418.
Yeah.
And I shot them both. It wasn't yesterday. It was 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I shot the 432, no lighted knock, 418, lighted knock. No difference.
Right.
At 45 yards, no difference. So I'm like,
that's good.
Does it really matter? But see, the thing is, I can't run because I want 125 because I'd like to be around 15, 16% FOC, but I also want to be able to see the arrow when I shoot it.
Correct.
So what do I do? So I think I'm just going to stick with the 418, and if that doesn't work, then I'll switch and deal with it. But I do this every year, and that's why I was curious, like what your setup is, because I used to run, low 5s, high 4s, and I've noticed I've been going less and less and less. Right. But see, the thing about speed, and I'm curious your opinion on this. I've heard so many arguments that you're never going to get an arrow to the deer quick enough, which is true. But you also don't want to have too slow of an arrow to give it more time to react more.
Correct. So, and I've listened to everybody, in it's an age-old argument that'll never be settled.
Yeah.
It'll just never be settled. But, it's kind of like me throwing a ping pong ball at your face versus me throwing a bowling ball at your face at the same mile per hour. Which one's going to hurt worst and do more damage?
Probably the bowling ball.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I understand the speed and getting there fast and deer jumping the string and all that. I do. But I read an article, and it's been a long time ago, but it was one of these big mathematicians that crunch all the figures and everything. And he said, if a deer is going to jump your bow at 260, he's going to jump it at 300.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter. There's not enough math in there to justify beating him jumping that string.
Yeah.
There's no leeway. If he's going to jump it at 260, it didn't matter if you were shooting a 320 feet per second bow. the outcome was still going to be basically the same.
Yeah.
As far as him crunching the numbers and adding everything together, they said it didn't matter. They said there's not enough feet per second difference in that little area between slow bows and fast bows to make a difference on a deer jumping your arrow. Now, I don't know because I can't crush those figures, but this guy sounded smart. And so
we trust him.
But then again, I go back to that same deal about, everybody's going to argue every side. I can throw out a positive. This person that's on speed's going to throw a negative right back at me.
Mm-hmm.
And it just comes down to a personal preference and shoot what makes you happy.
Yeah.
I see too many people going, you're an idiot for shooting this. Man, if you're happy with it, high five.
Mm-hmm.
High five. If that's what you want to shoot and what you feel is the right, arrow build or bow for the job, go with it.
Yeah.
Go with, do it. Do you, but there's a lot of people that if they're not doing it, if you're not doing it their way, you're wrong.
Yeah.
And in the archery world, there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Oh, dude.
Multiple people can be right.
Yeah. Well, so I had
multiple
T-Bone
people
on.
Can be right, but some people don't see life or bow hunting or whatever through that same aspect.
Yeah.
But
I know me and T-Bone got into it a couple years ago. Not got into it like argued, but we just dove into the topic. And I did a whole thing one spring on arrows, right? And I might have told you this, but I had Ranch Fairy on. Yeah. And he advocated for 650.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
And he's big on a lot of weight. And more power to him.
Yeah. You're going to get good penetration. Yeah, you'll get penetration.
The best.
Yeah. But then I had Tim Gillingham on.
Yeah.
Who shoots sub 400 with a 33-inch draw length. Right.
Correct.
So I'm going through this and I'm planning out the rest of the episodes. I'm like, man, you know who I need to get on here? I need to talk to T-Bone, dude. This I think was before you and I met. So I was like, I just need to get T-Bone on here because he's just going to shoot it straight. So I remember asking him, I'm like, T-Bone, what would you say for the average guy, 28-inch draw, 70 pounds, decent speed bow, right? Like the single cam stuff, that's a whole different topic. But our bows are typically anywhere between 315 to 340. If you shoot, a Sicario, you're shooting 360, but whatever. What's the middle ground arrow build? He goes, 450. Yeah. Like 450 is the middle ground that you can get away with a lot of stuff. And so then I remember kind of hearing from someone else, I might've been Jay or somebody, they were shooting low fours. Oh no, you know what? It was Josh Jones. And he was talking about how he hunts elk with 420 grain arrows.
Right. And I wouldn't be scared to do that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I wouldn't be scared to hunt an elk. And a lot of it, to be honest with you, boils down to shot placement more than, air stuff. If you hit the animal where you're supposed to hit it, a field tip with a standard 350 grain arrow is going to kill him. I mean, every time. So, I would work more on your efficiency to put that arrow where it needs to go versus, so much as far as the arrow build. But, it's just like you say, you'll talk with people, as long as you stay above 5 grains per pound, you're not doing any damage to the bow and you're fine. So as long as if you're shooting 70 pounds, that's 350 grain arrow is the minimum you want to shoot. Now you start going less than that, you're going to start damaging your bow.
A little bit,
it's going to start functioning like a dry fire to a degree. So you want to make sure you're above that, 5 grains per pound. Once you're above there, do whatever the heck you want to and makes you happy. But I'm more in that T-bone area to where I kind of ride that middle, maybe a little bit more to the heavy side.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna argue with anybody over it because if it's what you like and what you believe in, a lot of it's all up here.
Yeah.
It's like me. I sit here and look at an arrow, and I look at one that's 1,000ths, and I look at one arrow that's 3,000 straightness. Okay. In my mind, I know I can't shoot the difference between 1 and 3, but what am I going to buy?
The 1,000s.
Exactly, because it's up here. Now I know I can't shoot the difference between 1 and 3, not with my human element involved in the situation. So, but it's got to be up here. If your head isn't right, you're not going to shoot right. So that's why I say, man, whatever you believe in and whatever you think's going to work and whatever you've had success with, that's where you need to be. Whether it's a 350 grain arrow or a 650 grain arrow.
Yeah.
Whatever you're confident with. That's the great thing about America is we're free to do whatever the hell we want to do.
Yeah. For now, at least. We'll see how things go, but
as long as it's legal and not hurting your equipment, man, I'm going to give you a high five all day long, every day.
Well,
but there are a lot of people that take it personal, man.
Oh, yeah, dude. I've gotten into so many arguments. So many. And that's why I bring it up on here sometimes, because it's like, I know how I am. And what I'm probably going to end up doing is second guessing the lighter build and just go back to what I know works. Because let's be honest here.
You might want to run a lighter build.
Well, yeah. I'm talking about when deer season.
Deer season, switch over to a heavier, arrow.
Exactly.
And there's lots of different things you're doing as far as different weights. I know a lot of people that'll change up from a whitetail to an elk. They'll change their whole arrow setup and all. I don't do that.
I wouldn't do that.
I'm running an arrow heavy enough I feel comfortable with, with deer or elk. But I do know people that have two different setups. When they go out west, they run a totally different arrow with a different weight, maybe a different sight, that kind of stuff. Yeah. I use my deer setup for here anywhere I go.
Well, let's be honest, Pitts, where we're hunting at, what's the farthest shot we're going to take? Maybe 40. Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm talking Georgia.
Yeah.
If you shoot past 40 in Georgia, well, where are you?
And most people honestly don't need to shoot past 40.
No, I completely agree.
As far as when you take the movement of the animal in there, it's just like if I can see a deer at 80 yards, can I make that shot? Yeah, I can make that shot. But what is that deer going to do from the time the arrow leaves my bow till it gets to that target?
Exactly.
He can take a step or two, and I went from a kill shot to a gut shot or a wound shot or a miss. So it's not all about your capability. It's what can go wrong in between the release of that arrow and when it gets to the animal.
Yep.
And that's when, like where I'm at, deer jump your string. They're edgy. They're, just skittish as all get out. So anything over a 40-yard shot, yes, you can make it, but is it really the right decision? And that's what each individual. Now in the Midwest, where a deer is much more laid back, I might push it to 60 yards or maybe even a little further than that if the deer's really, really laid back. So
isn't there something, because I've heard people talk about this in depth that have actually taken these shots. The farthest shot I've ever taken was 25 yards, right?
Right.
So I don't know nothing. But what I have heard from a lot of people is between 30 and 40, you don't want to shoot them, because at 20, they hear the noise, right? They hear the bow go off. They probably hear the arrow coming, but it's such a short distance that you have less of a chance of them actually moving. But from 30 to 40, they hear it. The arrow's not there yet.
Right.
And then they move. So it's like, have you seen that?
I have watched a lot and kind of dove into it and gone down a lot of rabbit holes as far as why deer's jumping the string. And the most consistent, accurate information I've gotten is that the deer is hearing the veins. It's not your bow going off. It's not your release clicking. Not anything. It is the veins of the arrow in flight. If you will sit somebody down about 10 yards from the target. Let's just say you got somebody shooting at 50 yards.
Mm-hmm.
If you put them about the 15-yard mark and just let them listen as that arrow comes by, it is making a lot of noise.
Oh yeah, it's like a
yes. And so, I shoot a fletch vane, which is very thin, but yet very, very durable.
Yeah.
And it's probably got about the less noise, as far as aerodynamic flight noise. It's not very loud, but I've shot some vanes before that, man, they sound like an F-16 coming in front of you. But you never really know it is the shooter. But if you'll do that when you're out shooting with a buddy or whatever, now don't stand right in front of the target,
Yeah, don't do that.
Stand off to the side.
I've done that before.
And about halfway between the shooter and the target, and listen to that arrow when it comes in front of you. So I do believe that the deer is responding off the sound of that fletching. I don't think they're really hearing the bow as much as many people think they are.
Yeah. I was at the range with Josh last weekend, sighting the bow in and just kind of shooting.
Right.
You don't even have to be with some arrows, right? Some vanes.
Yeah.
You don't even have to be 15 yards. You could be standing next to him and I could hear it. And we're shooting 70 plus.
Yeah.
And as soon as he let that thing go, I heard it just go.
Right.
And I'm like, I'm right next to you and I could hear that.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So
that is correct. And each little aerodynamic thing, each thing you change on a bow, I mean, I've had vanes do it. I've had nocks do it. I've had inserts that, are kind of, flared out a little bit. Any little thing you do changes the noise level of that arrow. Yeah. And you don't really notice it from the shooter's perspective. It's something you kind of have to back up on, but you'll see tests to where they do decibel tests and all that on vanes. And Easton's been doing a lot of really good, accurate dives into this kind of stuff as far as broadheads, arrows, vanes. They did a real good thing on vanes last year. As far as, flight, noise, that kind of stuff. And so, as technology moves on, we're able to capture more data in more areas and actually see what different things are doing from a controlled environment, not adding human element or whatever into it. But yeah, there's some good stuff out there.
I mean, what's crazy to me, like I was listening to, I think it was the Podium Archer podcast, and they had the owner of DCA, the guy that makes the Super Sabers.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how he ran a bunch of tests, tested his against other vanes and stuff, and what it's doing to the air. Because I'm big on, like, I'm a weather nerd. Like tornadoes fascinate me, right? So when he started talking about this, my ears perked up because he was like, "You're creating little tornadoes."
Right.
It's basically what you're doing. Yeah. He's like, when you're that air that you're hearing, that's just a mini tornado coming off the vane. Correct. And so I'm like,
and helical has stuff to do with all that. Yeah. I mean, some people put a really radical helical.
I'm running 5 degrees.
Yep, on their stuff, and typically I like between 2 to 3 on a 3 fletch. And that's another argument that'll go on forever, is 3 fletch, 4 fletch, high profile, low profile, length. There's so much that goes into the equation there.
Yeah. But try telling Cam Haynes not to run 4 fletch and see how that works out for you.
I know it. But, if you're running a fixed head and a heavy setup, I could see where it might be a little bit beneficial.
Yeah.
When he's out there in that kind of territory where you run that kind of stuff, you're going to have a little bit of heavier arrow, that sort of thing. So, I would say if you're going to run 4, that's definitely the place to do it.
Yeah, I've done it.
Shoots a fixed head, but
I've ran 4, but it just, I don't know, man. I look, I can't shoot the difference. I'll tell you that.
Right.
Like I've got some 4 fletch behind me. I've shot them at distance. They don't have heavy helical, and the thing is, I'm kind of getting away from like the major helical stuff.
And if you do that with a 4 fletch to where it starts wrapping over and cutting the next vane off, you
Hmm.
can end up in some big problems.
Yeah, I had that happen. I had
Hmm.
one that I built um like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, something like that, just playing around, because this time
Right.
of year is when I do that. And I was running a 5-degree 4 fletch
Yeah.
and I shot it at distance and I could literally see the back end of the
Hmm.
arrow just
You'll
wobbling like
start
crazy.
washing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh man, like it dropped out of the sky. It was
Uh-huh.
crazy. So I do
Correct.
like the heavy helical for, you know, close range, like hunting setups,
Right.
definitely. Because those
Yeah.
those groups are ridiculously tight. But
Hmm.
if you're shooting distance, I mean, I experienced it this past weekend shooting what I have because I mean, I was when I was sighting in, I was noticing like, on the dialed side, it's got the numbers, right? So you start at
Right.
0 and then you
Yeah.
5, 10, 15, 20, all the way to, I guess, 100. I don't even know. But,
Yeah.
and then you just match it up to a tape or whatever. So
Hmm.
we started at 20, 30, 40, figured that out. And then we went to 50, and we go to 60, 70, 80, and then we jump to 100.
Right.
And the difference you could plainly see.
Yeah.
And I know it was because of the helical because
Yeah.
they're good to a point. Once you get past
Right.
70,
Yeah.
it starts dropping like crazy.
Right.
So
Right.
I may get away from that. I love how we started this off meaning to talk about turkeys and we did
I
like
know it.
30 minutes of it. Now we're talking arrows and deer and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah.
It's you can tell
I'm
where my mind's at.
Oh, I'm bad about that. I'll circle talk and end up over here and come back to here, and there ain't no telling where I'm gonna end up.
But that's what makes it fun. I think that's
Exactly.
why people listen to this because I'm like, hey guys,
Exactly.
in this episode we're talking to so and so about this. And then
Uh
it's
huh.
not about that at all.
And it's not about that at all.
Well,
Yeah.
one thing I want to bring up with you before we
Yeah.
hop off here, and it's
Uh
been I don't know if you listened to it or not. If you haven't, please listen to it because it's a very, very good episode. This is not me plugging, this is not me trying to promote or nothing, but it's a very good episode that I just dropped this week with
huh.
a buddy of mine
Yeah.
named Dustin Cole. And
Uh
the
huh.
topic was men's mental health, which we do
Right.
not talk about enough.
Right.
How do you I guess without getting too personal, right?
Yeah.
You struggle with that? I mean, especially being the in my opinion, the legend in the industry that you are, like, do you have, hey, listen, man, ain't nobody got I hope Doug hears this. No one's got a stash like you. All right. I'm just gonna throw it out there. All right. Fight me. But all
uh,
joking aside, like, because I've dealt with the imposter syndrome and like deer
yeah.
season's really rough and all that.
Yeah.
But do you deal with that? Like, is that something
Yeah.
that
I do.
really?
I do deal with it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Deer will keep me up at night from
Yeah.
time to time. Just trying to figure them out, playing different scenarios, this, that, and everything else. What situations, what wins, what this. I think I have a problem with overthinking a lot of stuff that I'm doing periodically, and it can really get in my head. And there was a year about 6, 7 years ago where I had a specific deer I wanted to hunt and kill. I had a lot of history with the deer, and I became obsessed with him. And that was one of the only years I've ever had to where I didn't kill a buck in Georgia, period.
Yeah.
And it just got in my head and got me all messed up to where it was that deer or no deer. And, after season, I kind of sat back and realized that I'd let that deer creep into my head and take over. And, so I told myself I'd never let that happen again, and I haven't. But yeah, I'll go down some rabbit holes and get thinking and overthinking everything as far as a lot of it goes.
Yeah. I mean,
So
like,
yeah,
how do you combat, like, when you get, because as men, like, we have a lot of weight on our shoulders, right?
right, right,
Um, I mean, how do you combat that? Like, I go at it with my faith where I'm like, all right,
yeah,
God, I'm in a dark place right now, man.
right,
I had 2 days this past month where I literally wanted nothing to do with anyone. Like,
right,
dude, I told the story last week. I'll tell you this too. And this is how bad it got, right? And I'm not trying to get like, depressing or anything, but people
right,
need to hear
right,
these things.
yeah,
Um, there was a day that me and my daughter went to church. My wife was out of town, and I was just in this weird mood. Like, I woke up and I was in a very weird mood. Tried to
uh,
fight it, was happy to be at church, but church was a little like I just felt disconnected. And
right,
so the family was there, and my daughter wanted to go to her grandma's place.
yeah,
And my new, excuse me, my sister-in-law just had her baby in January, right?
uh huh,
I
uh huh,
love this kid. She's
Right.
my little niece. Like she's tiny. Like babies terrify me, but I always want to see her.
Yeah.
And dude, that day I told my daughter, I was like, hey, you can go to your grandma's house. You can go to
Uh-huh.
Gigi's. No big deal.
Right.
But yeah, I'm going to go home. And
Yeah.
I just literally went home, and
Right.
it was the weirdest thing. And I told my wife, I'm like, I don't know what is wrong.
Yeah.
And, obviously I'm very open about my faith on here. So I prayed about it
Right.
and got through, and
Oh,
everything was fine. But
yeah.
like, how, I'm just curious to hear from other guys, like, how do you deal with it? Like, what
Yeah.
gets you out of that?
Yeah. It's just it's one of those things where you've almost got to just sit down and tell yourself it's just a deer.
Yeah.
you
Well,
know,
I
and
mean, like in life in general, I'm not talking just
yeah.
about hunting. I'm
Yeah.
talking like when it maybe isn't even
Right.
related to hunting. Like,
Right. Right.
what? Because the thing is, I could sit here all day long and say, hey, man, take it to Jesus, do what you got to
Yeah.
do. And I'm being honest.
Right.
But there's people that listen to this that maybe don't
Right.
have a relationship with them, or maybe they've got
Yeah.
their own thing that, is keeping them from doing that.
Correct.
And I'm trying to think of ways that maybe I could be like, all right, well, if you don't want to go down that rabbit hole or that route, I'm not going to
Yeah.
force it down anyone's throats.
Right.
But I'm trying to think of ways where I could be like, okay, well, maybe try this, So like, if I'm prying, let me know. But
No, no,
I'm
you're
just
not
curious,
prying. But I'm big in, my faith too. So, that's definitely a go-to.
Yeah.
Praying about it, that kind of stuff. That tends to ease my mind a lot, as far as that side of everything goes. But
Maybe
you know,
that's just the answer then.
yeah, I mean, it's the best answer
That's
I've
what
got.
I'm saying.
I promise you there.
Yeah.
But a lot of it's, when you get down, when you get beat up, when you feel like life's just not going your way. Lots of times I have to sit down and focus on all the positive things that are going on, because I'll focus and dwell on the negative too much. And I have a problem myself of being my own worst critic.
Same.
Nobody's really got to get on to me because I'm being hard enough on myself already.
Yeah.
So if I know I've messed up, you really don't have to say anything to me.
Yeah.
I'm fixing it without you saying anything, and I'm beating myself up 10 times worse than you could ever.
It just makes it worse when they get onto you and they don't know.
Yeah, and
which I've had that.
Yeah, and a lot of times I just have to sit down and, go, yes, this is going bad, and it's not where I want it to be, but what all good is going on around me?
Yeah.
And you can even put pen to paper and do a pros and cons list. And I guarantee the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
Yeah.
And when you start realizing that, I think it shifts your mindset a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you start realizing, because there's lots of times we all sit back and think we're being beat up and kicked while we're down and stuff of that nature. But
yeah. I mean, I had something like that
um,
happen recently, man, where
yeah.
someone kind of called me out on, and the thing is, I didn't even think I was being like negative or
Right.
or anything, right?
Right.
And I got called out on it, and I took
Yeah.
the whole day, and I was like,
Yeah.
I do sound very ungrateful with a lot of the
Right.
stuff that I do, right? And I
Yeah.
don't mean to. And
And a
maybe it's
lot of
just, my sarcasm, right? I am very
Yeah.
sarcastic. You know this.
Yeah.
So,
Right. Well, a lot of people don't like other people being direct. And
yeah,
I
that's true.
like a direct person to deal with me, because I don't ever have to worry about what that one person's thinking,
Yeah.
because they're going to tell me.
Yeah.
And lots of times I need to be told that. And it might shock me initially or whatever,
Mhm.
but when you sit back and think about it, they're right.
Yeah.
And this is going on, and I do need to fix this, and maybe I am doing this a little bit wrong.
Yeah.
So, a lot of times you just got to sit back and reflect on what it is, and if it's something you need to work on, or if it's something that's not, because you got a lot of people in the world now that are spewing hate just to spew hate. They don't mean
Yeah.
anything. They don't even know you. I mean, we get people comment on all our videos on
Dude.
stuff. They come in and make these negative comments, and
Yeah.
if you let that kind of stuff get to you, it will.
Oh yeah.
And
I've had my fair share, dude. I told you
and me,
before. I did that
Me,
episode on the Rampola buck. That's the
yeah,
most negative
yeah.
comments I've ever
Oh,
gotten. I'm
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
people are literally jumping on there, and I read them because most of them are funny.
Yeah.
But there's been a few that they're like, man,
Yeah.
these two idiots. And I had one guy comment. Now this video is 2 years old. Okay,
Right.
so this shows you
Right.
people are still, which is crazy, but people are still watching it.
Yeah.
And this guy commented, I think last night or this morning, and all he said was, man, one of these guys has to be Blackie Chan from the skeptics group. And I'm like, well, I left the group, so it ain't me. I don't
Yeah.
know if
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
dude was one of them, maybe, but
That's right.
it's crazy, man. And like, there's people, some of the most negative stuff I've seen, right?
Yeah.
And
And,
Joe Rogan's got a great quote. Don't read the comments. Just
yeah,
don't.
exactly. I know people that, man, it gets in their heads and ruins their days and stuff like that. And I'm like, man, there's some people that just hate their life so much that they
Yeah.
have to try and make other people's lives miserable. And
Mhm.
I truly feel sorry for that person
Oh, yeah.
that,
I prayed
that
for him.
is so miserable that they've got to try to make other people miserable, because nobody that's living a happy life and is happy with themselves and happy with others is going to stoop to that level.
Oh, yeah.
So you're dealing with somebody that's got issues somewhere
Mm-hmm.
as far as being able to make a comment like that. I've
Yeah.
been on social media ever since social media was a thing, and I've never left one negative comment anywhere. You
I
can't
did when I was
find.
a teenager. When I was a
I
teenager,
didn't even
ooh,
back
boy.
when I was a kid. But there are
Yeah.
people. I truly believe this. There are people that get up every day in troll, and
Oh,
it
yeah.
makes them happy.
Russia has a lot of those
Yeah.
accounts, just for people
Yeah.
who are listening that don't know.
hmm
No,
And
it's crazy, man. Like,
you
I see
know,
it a lot
I
in
feel
Facebook
sorry for
groups.
that person, because
Yeah.
you got to be a miserable person for you to get enjoyment out of trying to belittle other people.
Well, and the
And
thing is,
at a point with me, it's comical. I mean, it
yeah,
is. I just sit there and look at it.
the thing
And,
for me that I always have to remember, and this is for, maybe you need to hear it, maybe people listening need to hear it. I hope one person listening to this hears this and is like, dang, he's right. But
right.
if God woke you up today, you
Yeah.
have nothing to complain about. Because there's people who went
Right.
to sleep last night
Yeah. Didn't
and
wake
did
up.
not wake up.
Yep.
And it's like, I the older I've gotten, because I'll be 31 on Saturday, right?
Mhm.
So
Well, happy
yeah, that's
early
not old.
birthday.
Thanks, buddy. That means a lot coming from you. I'm gonna quote that, frame it, it's going in my bedroom. Probably sleep with it. But no, I the older I've gotten, I've really started thinking about it, where it's like, dude, I thank him for everything I've got every night,
Oh, yeah.
every morning, right?
100%.
And even when I struggle with stuff, because I still the old me,
Right.
I said this last week too. The old me loves to try and rear his ugly head, right?
Right.
And the closer I get to
Right.
him completely dying, the more he tries.
Yeah.
And when that happens, even when that happens, it's, I go to God for it. I
Right.
talk to Jesus about it.
Yep.
And I'll take a step back and be like, okay, what, like you were saying, make a pros and cons list.
Right.
What's the good stuff? I have a beautiful
Right.
wife. I have a beautiful daughter. I have a roof over my head. I've got food. The podcast is doing great. I have a good relationship with the Lord. I've got friends. I can hit you up anytime and be like, hey, Pitts, what's going on? I
Right.
don't feel like I'm bothering you.
Right.
And it's like that sort of stuff I've got to be thankful for, because
Yeah.
there's it could all go away like that,
Oh, and
and
exactly.
I don't mean to get so deep on it, but like it really
No.
has been a thing. Because I mean,
Yeah.
let me put it this way. I know guys that felt so down and beaten and everything that they literally had a loaded pistol next to them.
Oh,
and
yeah.
they were about to pull it.
Right.
Some
Right.
divine intervention came in and they didn't. And I
Yeah.
thank God for that, because
Yep.
to get to that point, I mean, I've been there before. I was a teenager, so it could have just been hormones, right? But I think Joe Rogan, the best thing he said once was, the worst thing that's ever happened to you is the worst thing that's ever happened to you. And I
Right.
think a lot of people, we all have different upbringings. Like my upbringing is completely different than yours, right? I'm
Right.
sure there's things that have happened to me that to you would be like absolutely no big deal. And I
Correct.
know, especially in the field that you're in, I know you've seen things that would probably break me. So
Mhm.
it's just like I guess what I'm getting at is I feel like we need to be more as a either society or let's just say the hunting community. Everybody
Right.
wants to be a big buck killer. Everybody wants to be, the next Lee Ellis or the next whoever.
Right.
And the what's the word I'm looking for? The bashing and the negativity that I
Yeah.
see.
Hmm.
You don't know who you're talking to. Like you don't
No.
know what that person's going through, right?
No.
So
No.
why do that?
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I love getting you on here, man, because you're not one of those people that's like, oh, my balls are bigger than down the street. Like I killed a 120, son. I'm the best damn thing. I'm the baddest thing in the woods, boy.
No.
Like you're not like that. And
I hope I
it's
get that way. It's
a lot of people are, unfortunately.
yeah. It's just me. I can't believe somebody like you wants to talk to me. I mean, it's just.
Fitz, have you seen the videos you've put out?
I mean, it's
Come
just to
on.
me.
I'm shocked.
It,
Listen, I'm shocked that you don't have women knocking your door down with that broom you got on and all this other stuff, dude. If they watch your videos, I won't let Jessica watch them. I'm like, hey, that's too much of a man. That's the closest damn thing to Dale Earnhardt I've ever met. Don't even, all right, don't even play.
that's
But
right.
nah,
That's
dude,
right.
you like I said, you are a national treasure. I say this
No,
every single
I don't know
episode.
if
You
I don't know
truly,
if I go that far, but
I think you are.
I just have fun with what I do.
But
I
that's
mean,
what we
that's
need. That's what
all.
that's what
That's
I'm
all
getting
it
at.
is.
That's what we
It's
need
yeah,
because everybody's so serious.
yeah,
Like I've had people on this podcast that worship deer,
yeah.
and I'm talking night and day. It's all they
Oh
think
yeah,
about. And that's fine. Hey, you do
right.
you, right? But
Yeah,
if I sit you down and I say, "Hey, tell me about your life story." And I'm not
right.
laughing within the first 20, 30 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's just stone faced, like this is what you do to
Uh
kill
huh.
deer. It's
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
hold on, where's the personality? Where's the person behind this? You telling
There's
me
no
this is all you
doubt.
think about?
Yeah.
And I'm sure I could probably tell you who I'm thinking of, and you would know exactly, like you'd
Oh,
agree.
I'm sure too. I'm
But
sure too. There's some people that take it to the extreme,
and I
but
get it, like, but see, there's good extremes and there's bad extremes. Lee
that's
Ellis,
right.
good extreme.
Oh yeah,
Unnamed people, bad extreme,
that's
right?
right.
So
Yeah,
it is what it is. I'm not trying to bash anyone. I know I'm kind of rambling
right,
here, but
right.
it, it's, I guess what I'm getting at with this whole entire thing is we need to really start talking more about men's mental health and how important it is because
Oh,
we
correct.
were raised, hey man, if you got something wrong, bottle it up. Don't talk about it.
Right.
Don't show
Nobody cares.
weakness. Exactly.
Nobody cares.
Exactly. And it's like, no, there's people that care. I've got
Yeah.
a buddy of mine, literally, don't even know this dude from Adam, but he and I were talking last night and I was laying it all out and he was laying it all out to me and like how he
Right.
struggles with stuff and how I
Yeah.
struggle with stuff. And
Yeah.
it ended with both of us being like, yo, bro, you ever need anything?
Yeah.
Hit me up. I don't care what
Oh
time
yeah.
of the day
No
it is
doubt.
or anything. Hit me up. Like,
No
because
doubt.
I don't want to see anybody go down that
No.
dark rabbit hole, I guess.
Yeah. No.
So
There's need to it when there's help, out there.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly. Look,
yeah.
we need to finish this on a light note. So,
That's right.
um, are we gonna see you? Are we gonna see you running for Mr. Green Jeans in another video soon? Or when can we expect to see some turkey videos drop?
Who? Texas ought to drop here for long. I'm not sure where they're at in the editing process on all that, but I would imagine within the next week it'll probably be coming out on Realtree Road Trips, probably and Spring Thunder side of
Okay.
Realtree. Uh, and then I believe Saturday, as a matter of fact, heading to Redstone Armory for that veterans hunt. We're doing it
Oh,
again this
nice.
year. And that's always a really good hunt because they let us into areas that have never been hunted. Like last year, we were in some areas that hadn't been hunted since the 70s. And we got 80% of the veterans a bird on the first day.
Wow.
And by the end of the second day, we had 100% all the veterans killed a bird.
Oh my
So
God.
it's always a good hunt.
That's
And I
awesome.
like Redstone Armory. It's an interesting place because you got
Yeah.
all four branches of the military there. You got
Where's
the
that at?
FBI there. You've got NASA's there. That's where space camp and all that for the kids is. It's in Huntsville, Alabama,
Okay.
where it's at.
Yeah.
Uh, and it's a really neat place. And it's fun to go up there, and it's really good turkey hunting, and we get to get these veterans birds. So it's always a fun time. So we're heading up there. Well, I'm heading up there Saturday to take part in the youth hunt. And then I think we start hunting. I can't remember when it is, but the veteran hunt's 2 days, but I'm going in a little earlier to do some youth hunts. So it'll be some fun hunting up there.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, man. Give everybody a shameless plug before we sign off of here.
What is a shameless plug?
Like where they can find you,
Oh
YouTube,
man,
all that stuff. I mean, they probably know by now, but
I'm
for maybe new
terrible with
listeners,
social media.
do you want me to do it for you? Do you want,
I'm
I
the
got you.
world's worst, but Facebook. I got 2 Facebook page, Michael Alton Pitts, and then Michael Pitts Outdoors on Facebook, and then on Instagram it's at the Real Pitts is what it is.
Yeah.
I need to get better with my social media. I'm in that older crowd that computers scare the heck out of me, and so I'm not as active on social media as I probably need to be. I need to get better at that and post more.
Just hire a kid to do it for you. I'm sure there's some kid out there that loves hunting that would love to do it.
Yeah, I know it. I need to do that. REALTREE gets on to me all the time because I don't post enough. And I need to get a little better with my social media stuff,
Dude, it's hard. But I ain't gonna lie. I put out like a couple things a week.
Yeah, with me, it's just, I don't know. Part of me's scared of computers, honestly. And then a part of me is just so busy, it's hard for me to, sit down and find a couple hours to just spend on social media and get stuff out there. And it's one of those things I'll sit there and kind of put off. And next thing, it's just, I ain't even done it.
Yeah.
But that's one thing I need to get better at doing for sure.
Well, all you ladies listening, all 2 of you,
I'm tied down though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm just that mustache, man. Okay, well,
my girlfriend's
ladies, I'm
gonna
sorry
see
to break your
this,
heart.
and she's gonna be going, I'm gonna hear about it.
All right, Pitts' girlfriend. I am so sorry. I did not know.
No, I'm just messing with you.
I don't know.
I'm just messing with you.
We just broke a couple of hearts, but that's okay. No, for real, man. Thank you for coming on, and everybody needs to go follow you. They need to go support you. Don't blow him up on Facebook though. I did it.
No, blow me up. I don't care.
Okay, blow him up. He says blow him up.
I'm just, I'll get back to you sooner or later.
Yeah. Dude, I'll tell you what, out of all the things on social media, that's the one thing I'm bad at is replying. Like I've probably got messages from 3 weeks ago that I'm just like,
yeah,
I'll get to it later. And then the wife and kid get home. I'm like, oh crap, I never messaged so-and-so back. Dang it.
Yeah, that's the same way.
I'll do it tomorrow. And then it's bad, dude. But seriously, buddy, thank you for coming on. I know we got derailed. This podcast went a little bit longer than I expected, but I don't care because it was a lot. See, this is why I like doing them in the afternoon because I don't have to worry about, it's 9:30. I'm old. I need to go to sleep.
I know
I know
it.
It's more fun. So, but dude, thank you for coming on. If I kill a bird, I'm gonna name it Michael, and then and I will send you pictures. Hopefully, I can find time, dude. That's the biggest thing. There's so much. Like work's about to get crazy, and everything else. So it's just, it's gonna be fun. But anyway, Pitts, thank you. I love getting you on. We are gonna eventually do an in-person episode. Plan is when that happens, we'll be talking deer, so we can dive into it. And we can figure out how to help my wall back here that's got tiny deer because apparently
nothing wrong with that.
Hey, nothing wrong with it. They taste the same, but
that's right.
That's right. Yeah. Awesome, buddy. Well, I guess until next time, man. Thank you.
No problem.